Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world tonight. This is Doc Skinner with 1028 Live. It's Tuesday. What day is it? December 4th. We're already in December. The year is almost over. And anyway, we're going to cut right to the meat. I've got a very special guest. His name is Dylan Monroe. If you've been watching the news, you've probably seen his artwork. I'm going to pull him up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Dylan Monroe. You go, get your camera. There we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing pretty good, Dylan. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
Good. We're wearing mirror image opposites. I like that.
Matching
by the way,
shirts.
Thank you for the shirt. Appreciate it.
Black version, white version.
Yeah, I
good
like
cop,
that.
Good cop, bad cop.
So, tell me, Dylan. We haven't spoken since Disclosure Con. But you have been taking off. I mean, you got to go to Alien Con, and then you got some other stuff coming up. You've been getting covered in the press. Your artwork, which is like this, and I actually have it as my backdrop, and I'm sure you'll show it here in a bit. But you have I'm proud of you. You're really taking off. You're getting noticed, and your artwork is being seen all over the world. How does it feel?
Thanks. It's been a lot going on. I mean, it's been a crazy 2 months because I found out about Disclosure Con 1 month before that happened. And then I found out about Alien Con at Disclosure Con, which was a month away from that. So getting ready for a convention within 1 month is a little bit of a rush.
Yeah.
And I kind of forced my way into Alien Con. I mean, I had to buy in, it costs money to get a booth at these conventions most of the time. And I got ready just in time and it went well. I didn't get to go to any of the speeches, but, it was a huge convention for aliens. And so it was interesting to be there, and it was on 11/11, which was a significant date. And so a lot of us were kind of wondering if something significant was going to happen on that date. And I was in the convention all day. So it kind of did, like the 11/11 time slot on 11/11 just kind of flew by for me because I was just in my booth slinging out Qwebs. But
yeah,
at the exact same time, the same day, there was that meditation in DC going on. It was called Disclosure Fest. Actually, I found out about that one late too. Yeah,
I just found out about that myself. Actually, now before we go too deep, let's give the audience members that are viewing your web address, so maybe they can pull up some stuff and do some reading and seeing images as you're talking.
So yeah, that way they can definitely. So my main website is deepstatemappingproject.com. And then the first thing you'll see on there is the free downloads of all my main diagrams and also a few diagrams by other artists. And then if you want to go even deeper, you go into the info tab, the info section, and you can find the individual web pages for the different diagrams that give you a little more of like the bibliography and a little bit of the research that went into them. So that's the main thing to know. And then obviously I have the t-shirts, the posters, are the thing I'm selling on the website. So check those out as well.
Real quick, how long does it take you to do one of these art pieces? Because they are massive in scale. I mean, just the amount of information in one image.
The two main complicated ones that people have seen so far, the Qweb and the Cult of Baal map, they both took a really long time. I mean, the first version of the Q map, it took me exactly a month and a half to get it out. But then since then, I had done significant upgrades on it, updates, especially to the early portion, which is actually the early portion is what became the Cult of Baal map. And that whole thing took about 6 months working on and off on it. And I'm starting a new one, actually, just started it last week. That's going to be called the Health Web or the Healing Web. And, that one just started as like a pencil on paper, and then I have to do a lot more research and digitize it. But it's hard to say exactly because I don't work on it every day, like from 9 to 5. A lot of time working on it overnight from like 5 to 6 a.m. So
wow. Yeah. So it's so intricate. What spawned the idea of, hey, I've got to put this map together? Because what I'm looking at, and it's my desktop background. I'm sure people will see it in the future, but it's so elaborate. And what I was saying was, this is almost a form of mind mapping, which is Einstein used to do his notes that way. So after he died, and Tesla, they couldn't read it. They didn't understand how it worked, the mechanics of it. But that's just what I'm looking at. It's mind mapping of this whole thing, and it's beautiful. I mean, that's why at DisclosureCon I had it blown up to a 4x6.
Yeah, it was
Because
beautiful.
yeah, and thank you very much. I've never had real artwork in my house before, so yeah, I have it right when you walk in the house, and it's just, you just sit there and want to just stare at it, and there are moments of no way, and I knew it, So what possessed you to go this route on spreading the knowledge?
I mean, I never expected my art to go this direction, but I started this project, which ended up being named the Deep State Mapping Project, early 2017, around when Trump was inaugurated. And I had done a few different diagrams similar to the Qweb, but a lot more simple. There was first a diagram from Kennedy through Trump that listed the conspiracies. And then there was a diagram called the Pizzagate, Stargate, Watergate diagram that basically explained those three conspiracies. And I started the Qweb when QAnon started posting stuff, and that sort of spurred me to start putting some of QAnon bullet points together to keep track of those in my mind, especially the Saudi Arabian princes. And then I really went off the QAnon rail and did my own thing with it. Some people do still think that the Qweb is based just on QAnon, or even that it came from QAnon, but it really was my own research that just I put everything that I knew on there, and then even went deeper into what I was trying to fill in the blanks, especially the pre-20th century blanks, and just filled it up, had to fill up the whole page and, make it like a coherent narrative. So it definitely goes way beyond what QAnon had been posting. It's not just based on his work or what he has disseminated the information, but it's really my own thing. But then a lot of what QAnon has said going forward has aligned with what I actually put on there. So it is, very still considered to be part of the whole QAnon phenomenon. I was actually just Googling QAnon yesterday and going to the image search, and actually the second image that pops up when you Google QAnon is the Q map. So
Wow.
You can't deny that, yeah, it's been intimately intertwined with the whole QAnon thing.
Oh, okay. So
Did you just hear a really loud ding? Because I'm not sure if that goes through. It's on my computer.
Oh, yeah. You'll still hear
Yeah.
computer sounds.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Text me.
We didn't hear it, so it's all good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just your microphone. So, wow. That is like the epitome of Forrest Gump. You are right on the cusp of being incorporated with history. Did you ever think of it like that?
I never thought it would get that big. I mean, especially since the first version of this I did, which I could actually pull up for you, but the first version of it that I did, I shared, January 2017, and it didn't get hardly any recognition. Like, it was with my friend group on Instagram and Facebook, it got I think 11 likes or something. It's just no one understood. Well, and so because of QAnon, so this was the original version. It wasn't intended as the original version of the Qweb, but it was the first piece of the art project that became the Deep State Mapping Project.
Wow.
And so it was supposed to always have this sort of declassified, CIA file cabinet look to it. Mm-hmm. And it's basically the same idea that I used for the Qweb. I just added the arrows and made it go all the way back to Atlantis instead of just Kennedy.
Wow.
But this didn't get hardly any traction when I showed it on Instagram. And so it's really because I got into Facebook groups and started connecting with people who actually shared my interests, and not just, friends from my personal life, that I found an audience that was actually receptive to my research. And, it was great to actually finally find people that appreciated what I was doing, because, I thought it was important, but, still most of my friends from my personal life are, well, this is on Facebook Live, right? So I can't say too much, but they're mostly liberals, especially the ones from New York. They're all Hillary voters, so they definitely aren't too receptive to conspiracy theories, especially since the mainstream media has been painting conspiracy theories as an entirely right-wing, or they call it now alt-right phenomenon, when really conspiracy theorists come from all walks of life. There's right-wing conspiracy theorists, there's left-wing, and personally for myself, I wasn't even voting for quite a few elections before. I mean, I think I voted Libertarian once and then Green Party in 2016. So I definitely don't consider myself right wing or alt right. So I don't like those labels, but
I don't either.
you just have to be a truth seeker to be interested in conspiracies, from my point of view.
And the word conspiracy, like you said, has been demonized by the cabal on, to, look at this hand, don't look at this hand kind of thing. But back to your maps, with everything going on with Q, when you first saw your first nod from Q, I mean, have you really been diving into, watching all the Q posts on a daily basis? I mean, are you that into it, or
I definitely have been into Q. I mean, I've never been savvy with 8chan and 4chan. I've tried, but I've never been able to really find the Q post and find a page where I can actually interact, because anyone who's tried knows that 4chan and 8chan are very not user-friendly, especially if you're familiar with the Facebook, Instagram format. But I was always following Q, like through Jordan Sather, through Destroying the Illusion. And I would stay up to date on the Q posts. And when people started creating the custom Q websites like qmap.pub, I forget the older ones that you can't really go to anymore, but the websites that made it easy to read the Q post directly, I would definitely look at those. And, I don't always understand the Q post myself, so I definitely still rely on different YouTube channels for interpretation. But I've started following so many different people on Instagram, mainly as my main platform, that, I see these things in real time as people like repost Q's posts, and then they post their interpretations. They post different theories coming from Twitter, coming from other places. And so, I get a sense of what's going on from multiple sources and from Q himself.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, there's a lot that Q posts and I'm like, huh? Like, I'm not the best. I don't claim to be the best decoder. Like, I'm the map maker. I'm not the decoder.
I like that. I'm learning to be a decoder. There's a lot of numerology involved, but the fact that I even what's his name? There's another one of those guys, one of the decoders. He has your posters in the back behind
Jordan,
him.
Yeah, that's
Jordan. Thank you.
Destroying the Illusion. That's the main one I follow still.
Yeah, me too. And it's there are a few of them that are really, really good, and they put it together, and you're just like, wow. But the fact that it was Jordan's site, that's what I was saying. I made a comment on there and actually got some responses. I was like, okay, if Q's not John, which I believe he is, that's just my belief. If not, what if it was a time traveler? Like in Back to the Future, we had the history book, and he's just going back going, I'm just going to mess with everybody and tell them everything a day before, but I strongly believe it's the good hat guys, the white hats. It's John faked his death.
I think there's definitely still very valid theories that Q might either be a time traveler or an extraterrestrial, or, a combination of all three. It could be John G, a time traveler, and an extraterrestrial. You mean John Kennedy, right?
Yeah, John Jr.
Yeah.
So, and all of that, I've done so much research. I even watched a video, or was a news report that was done in the 90s, or not the 90s, right after his death. And they made it out to be an assassination. And knowing what I know now with everything with Q, you watch this video, and it's like John's manual on how to fake your death. But have the news say it's an assassination attempt.
Now, did you see the Santa and Mrs. Claus come out at the Trump rally recently that people were saying they think is John and his wife?
Yes. Now all the photos, I won't argue with it. It's them to me. I strongly believe it in my heart. Because he had the money.
That would make the greatest ending to the story.
Oh, wouldn't it? But that's the thing, is he's so wise, so intelligent, so he loves to play games. He likes to pull pranks. That's what he was known for. Luckily, his mother kept him out of he was still involved in the ritzy, East Coast life, but she taught him how to just be a human being, just like Princess Diana did with her kids. Try to have them not be that full pompous
Mm-hmm.
category of people. Um,
Well, now the Kennedys, let me throw a little wrench in everyone's mind right now, because I know everyone thinks of the Kennedys as kind of like the good guys, and that JFK was like the great president that got assassinated by the deep state. But something that I've been thinking about recently, like not to rain on everyone's parade, but I was watching a documentary on, I think, the History Channel that was talking about Kennedy's dad, I think Ted Kennedy, and it was saying how he had actually got his daughter lobotomized because she had mental problems. It wasn't that bad, but after the lobotomy, she was like a vegetable for the rest of her life. And I was like, that's kind of fucked up. And then there's different things with the Kennedys. Then, John Kennedy had a kid die at infancy.
yes.
Which, that could be like a tragedy, but that could also, knowing the cabal and their rituals, that could be a child sacrifice. So
Ooh.
possible, not drawing any conclusions here, but just to keep it in mind, because I realized I didn't even know that until I actually went to JFK's gravesite earlier this year in Arlington Cemetery, and I see next to him, the infant's grave, who only lived a couple months, and I was like, huh? It's like,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird, but that's another thing. And then
Yeah, they actually they dug up the bodies and buried them twice.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then you
there's
had
actual photos of them, of Teddy and all them standing around in the middle of the night with Secret Service as they were doing it. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a
So I mean,
whole
I
bunch.
hope this is like the nice family that's come to save America, but
Yes.
you have to keep in mind they are elite, and they are tied in with some pretty people that we expect to be cabal. So let's not put all of our trust in anyone. Even if it is Ted or Kennedy come back to save us, let's keep a skeptical eye on them. What's going on?
Well, whatever it is, whoever it is, and whoever's in the White House, which is we know it's Trump, but I think we're at 67,000 sealed indictments that when they're all opened at once, oh, it's going to be a crap storm. It's going to be a
Yeah.
total. I mean, but
Yeah, there's
you
just
know,
so much leading up to this. I mean, we see the changes in the martial law, we see the upgrades at Guantanamo, we see the troops going to Guantanamo, we see the indictments just building up higher and higher and higher, and it's just like, when is this going to crack? Because
let's talk about Guantanamo. Okay, because that not many people know what's going on with Guantanamo right now. The fact that they're doing upgrades and building extensions to the buildings for more rooms. They've just sent off a platoon of soldiers or a squad. No, it's a platoon. I think it's like 100 soldiers for 400 days mission that they're going to do there. So what's going to happen in those 400 days? What are the extensions? It's just, yeah, there's going to be a party, but no one's going to have fun.
mm-hmm. And I've also, since early on in this queue, I've been of sort of not completely the mindset, but I've been entertaining the possibility that some of these tribunals have already actually happened, like the tribunal for Hillary especially might have already happened, and that she was like wearing that boot, and just everything that's going on now is kind of like a charade. Is being acted out. They're acting like they're free. They're acting like they haven't been arrested yet. But, I'm thinking there's a possibility that they already have been in secret, and that we're just kind of like catching up the public and catching up the legal system to what's already happened behind the scenes. So that's one possibility. I kind of like to believe that, because it makes me think that everything's really under control, and that there's no way these deep staters could have like a comeback. But it will be important for it to play out in the public and have people actually accept it, that it actually happened, if the entire previous administration, and possibly the entire previous 3 administrations, are all arrested.
Well, that was actually mentioned in a Q post or something I just saw last night, saying two would die, 3 or something with a shake. The 3 would be shaken and 2 would be taken. Oh yeah, 3 would be shaken, 2 would be taken. And he was saying they were talking about the president. I have to go back to my YouTube history and figure out what video that was, but that was kind of creepy. And they said, oh no, I think it was on Marv Fugel last night. I think that's where I saw it. He has gained a lot of traction. Have you seen Marv Fugel?
I haven't, no.
Um, Not somebody you would expect to have their own show. He was very, very, very timid in the beginning. Him and his family bugged out, but he has just blown up. I think he's a gazillion, not a gazillion, but a crap load of subscribers. He does late night shows, 3 hours. I think it starts at like 1 a.m. And he's been getting a lot of calls from people on the inside, especially people that were involved with the fire. So people are paying attention to this guy. So maybe you may want to check him out. I'm actually considering having him on my show because, you know, he's, I don't want to say he's tapped, but he's blessed. He's getting some good intel of things happening. Now, they haven't always been right, but when they are, they are. And that's the other thing we like with Q, the fact that he said something was going to happen on November 11th, and there was that gigantic ringing of the earth for 20 minutes that was picked up on all the seismographs, but nobody felt it physically. And it came out, wasn't it South Africa, Malta, I think was the island that it came from, and it just rung out.
Something in the Indian Ocean. I actually have up, someone sent me today on Instagram a Twitter account that had done a pretty good decode of that ring that went out. And so it was from this account, the Sharp Edge One. And, I read this whole thing and I didn't completely understand it, but he shows this island where it's supposed to have come from. You seen this?
Yeah, that's
it's like the triangular island in the Indian Ocean that these waves emanated from. And then he goes on to sort of connect this somehow to CERN and to this CERN satellite that's been launched. And
wait, CERN has a satellite?
This is like a handheld, this is like a satellite that you can hold in your hand. It's like this tiny little cube that says it can measure radiation from CERN somehow. I don't understand how this all connects, but he's basically saying that this ringing might have had something to do with the Q forces, whoever they are, taking back control of either CERN or of like the energy grid of the Earth. So yeah, nobody really knows exactly, but is something significant may have happened.
No, well, yeah, I would say that happened. And then he said, the December 5th date. And then here we are, we're going to be having the funeral tomorrow. All the banks, everything, all businesses, the government is being shut down tomorrow. Now, it was mentioned last night, wouldn't that be a perfect time? Or it was it was Rex Bear. Rex Bear from the League Project was saying, wouldn't this be a perfect opportunity for the bank holiday that we've all feared, where they lock out all our money? Now, it's 7:30. I'm not saying go to your bank to clear it out. I don't see that, but that's kind of opportunities that they would take. And the fact that somehow Q, and this is the post that made me think, oh, okay, he's got to be a time traveler. I mean, how did he know unless the Bush situation was part of the cabal? We'll just leave that at that.
The original D5, December 5th, what was supposed to happen was Huber was supposed to testify on about the Clinton Foundation, because Huber was an attorney that had been tasked by Sessions back in the spring to investigate crimes of this Clinton Foundation. And tomorrow was supposed to be his testimony to Congress, I guess, revealing what he had found, which I'm sure he found quite a bit. But so now I just heard today that has been rescheduled to December 13th. So we're going to have to wait. But so this whole Bush death thing and, the funeral tomorrow combined with the shutdown of Wall Street might be something else. It might be a deep state counter move that's now we're going to see a counter move to the counter move from the alliance. So who knows what's going to happen? It probably won't be anything too dramatic that we'll see tomorrow, I don't think. But on the 13th, when Huber does testify, there might be some serious accusations coming out about the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting it. So I'm I'm kind of cheating. You want to know how I'm cheating on what I'm bringing up? I'm looking at your poster. I'm just looking around going, what can we talk about now?
Well, that's the way to do it.
Seriously, folks, if you haven't seen the Qweb poster, you gotta get it.
Let's pop it up.
Buy the poster.
Oh, there it is.
Yes. Now this is the colored version to help teach how to read it, correct?
It teaches how to read it, but also makes it easier to just see the different sections. So I think the color version is sort of better to get acquainted with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you kind of know where things are, you don't really need the colors anymore.
Yeah. But it's just beautiful, and it seems like it's just never ending.
Well, so another project that I'm thinking about doing, I haven't really started it yet, but I have a lot more notes for this. And so a possibility would be to do a poster version where the text is actually the size of the 8.5 by 11 printout version. Okay. So that there would be probably maybe like 4 times more bullet points on here. Now, I don't know if that would be like information overload, but if I had infinite time and infinite resources, I would definitely be doing that because there's so much more information. I mean, I wouldn't say this is just scratching the surface, but there's definitely twice as much information as what you see here. Like this is the most important stuff. Right. But I mean, I have so many more bullet points, especially from before the 20th century. I mean, you can dig into those medieval conspiracies for days. Exactly. And the biblical ones as well. I mean, that's what the cult of Baal map is.
Oh, that's cool. And you have it. Yeah. If I had all the money in the world and I could commission some art from you, I would ask for one of the world history of aliens and alien encounters and interactions with Men in Black and, Area 51 and NASA and
alien only Qweb.
The Pleiadians and the lizard people and the explosion of the planet between Mars and Earth that became the asteroid belt. And, yeah. Later, but I'm just saying that'd be fun.
I mean, I just learned about George Van Tassel, who was the first one who channeled Lord Ashtar, and he had UFO conventions in the Mojave Desert back in the 1950s that went on for like 17 years. So that's someone I just learned about, last week or 2 weeks ago. And, I've really been into the Pleiadians and Lord Ashtar theories, but I didn't really know exactly where they came from, where they had originated. But this is the guy who actually started it. So, I mean, I think he definitely deserves to be on the Qweb.
So he's the first alien con guy.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, I think he's the first. I don't know if there was other cons going on back then, but yeah, he hosted this UFO convention that went on for 17 years.
Cool.
In the desert at this thing called Big Rock. It was this huge.
Yes, it's a big rock. Yeah, I've heard of it. It's famous, and there's photos of it. I've always thought if I went in that area, I would like to stop by because of that guy. They haven't said where you can visit, right? I mean, they didn't tear it all down because it was under the
rock broke in half.
Oh, wow.
I think they made the little room in there too big and the whole rock broke in half. But, that's one example. There's a whole spectrum of people who are considered channelers that have so much information that I feel like is really under the radar. Like, I don't know if you've heard of like Bashar or if you've heard of Ramtha.
I've heard of Bashes.
But yeah, I think all of those things are really interesting and they're worth at least knowing about and maybe looking into if it resonates with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's dude, there's so much. Okay, so back to the Q. Who do you think Q is?
I definitely think that Q plus is Donald Trump, and I think the regular Q posts are probably. Who's the general? Flynn is the one everyone talks about, like the general that works with him.
Yeah, but who's the general that committed suicide, quote unquote, last night or the night before?
I hadn't heard anything about him before that happened. So the fact that they're not saying that was anything shady is just, another incrimination of the mainstream media not doing their job. But, that's obviously something to do with this fucking civil war that's going on. When a general or a commander, he was high up in the Navy. And when someone like that just dies in another country in the hotel room, that's like definite assassination. But you never know what the full story is. And I don't think we'll ever get it. Because that that's something that people who follow the mainstream news probably didn't even hear about. It's only us conspiracy theorists that are interested in these high profile Navy general assassinations or deaths that are called suicide.
Yeah. Or looking into all of these resignations happening, all like in waves, or people getting fired or people getting indicted. I mean, there is, I think that, me personally, I think that is why Trump made that comment, a storm is coming, because it's going to be a crap storm. And, you're going to have over 67,000 indictments, all these people who are trying to bail ship at the last minute. I mean, yeah, it's going to be something biblically epic.
Well, let's talk about Paris for a minute now, because
oh yeah, sure,
there's something going on there. And Q just said 2 days ago, like these protests are not about the fuel prices.
They were holding up signs saying something French, and then pedophile. Yeah, and God bless them all for doing it.
The other sign next to that one said something about vaccines. And so I think that these are for real, like Earth liberation protests. These are like truther protests in a way. I mean, I'm sure there's also just anarchists amongst them.
Well, they're going to take advantage of the mass group mentality. But I feel in my heart that those people, they're fighting for the right thing. They've got a corrupt government that has pedophiles in there, and they need to get out. And they're corrupt. I mean, they're just bad, and they need to go.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if, like, I don't think that kind of civil unrest is necessarily a good thing. I mean, maybe it is.
No. And I don't appreciate them burning and messing up businesses and stuff. It's like, okay, if you want to revolt, fine. But remember, you got to go to work the next day. So don't burn down your restaurant.
Or just go straight to wherever the government is and attack that.
Well, why do you think?
Maybe the Arc de Triomphe is a good target, but they're definitely doing a lot of private property damage.
That's probably why all the government buildings are made of marble and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not suggesting us do that. I'm just saying, don't do that. We can protest. The Paris thing should be an example that if people stand together, anything's possible, but don't take it to the violent side. Now if they're being shot at and their government is coming after them, defend yourself, but don't antagonize the violence. Antagonize your purpose on why you're protesting.
I think a lot of what QAnon is bringing up information, informing people to avoid that exact situation.
Yeah.
Because if these arrests were to happen and people weren't prepped mentally, that I think the U.S. could easily go into that kind of a scenario of just anarchy and destruction. But I think the reason why Q has been posting for over like a year and a half, like in anticipation of these arrests, is to avoid that exact situation. In one of his early posts, I think it was post 32, he said, if we do martial law, there's going to be like civil unrest, whatnot. And I think at that time, he didn't say like, this is why we're sharing this information, is to avoid that. But clearly, like, that was why he was saying that, was to, maybe get enough people on board with what was going on, that if it actually went down, that there would be enough people keeping a level head that it wouldn't like degenerate into complete anarchy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm having the image of the sheriff in my head with the Q patch, and he's just been flashing like I need to bring it up.
So you think that was John?
The soldier with a Q?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Have you seen that theory?
No, I didn't even.
I'm not sure how far that meme or whatever went, but I saw the first person I saw post it was a friend from Norway, posted a comparison between that soldier with the Q and John Kennedy with like the smile, the exact same smile on those two people. And I was like, whoa.
He was wearing sunglasses, right?
No, he wasn't even wearing sunglasses. He had a helmet. He had a helmet.
He did have the helmet. So I need to go back and look at that photo. But
I'll send it to you on Facebook.
But I do know that on Q posted something really cool, or somebody on the Q post said, and what they did is they released the statement from the wife saying, my husband's never done anything wrong. He's got immaculate, record, this sucks. And then somebody through Q, or it was on the Q link, said, have him go to, oh yeah, it was Q, because Q said go to the FBI, Secret Service, and something else link for application. He said, apply at one of these and you'll be fast tracked through.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that too.
awesome. That is so awesome.
I might have to go get a job with them too pretty soon here. If I keep doing these conventions, it's going to bankrupt me.
Right. Well, growing pains, but you're already blowing up. It's so you'll be fine. All right. So I wanted to mention that because I just thought that was the coolest thing, showing that Q is not going to let his people fall.
He'll give us all jobs with the FBI and the Secret Service.
Yeah, send me that link. I'll sign up too. As long as I can work from home,
I don't know. Okay, here's the picture.
Yeah, bring it up.
Where's like the original? Give me another minute. Keep.
All right.
It was just comparing that soldier that was in Mike Pence's tweet to John Kennedy, but I'm not finding like the one that was a really good comparison. But who knows? I think there's been a lot of comparisons to John Kennedy from just like random people, and I think people have gone a little bit overboard in that theory. To be honest, like it's a possibility, but I don't think we should, spend too much.
I don't
proving it. I know that's your belief.
No. Him being the sheriff, I don't know. We'll have to look at that photo when you pull it up. But
yeah,
the other Vincent Fusco, yeah, absolutely. And then the two women. Is
that the guy that goes to the rallies?
Yes, with scruffy beard and the black hair. Now you have to think, John had wavy hair like that, but it was always well manicured.
Mm-hmm.
So you let it go and then let his beard get scruffy like mine. You put on these round glasses, you're 20 years older.
Totally different identity.
You're not going to look like you did in the modeling. Now, the other thing is the tattoo. You know about the tattoo that he had in his photos? Okay. I'll try to send you some links, but he did a photo shoot in college where he had a tattoo of a dagger going through a Z. Oh. And in this one video, they look it up, and it was a little military secret organization. But it was a temporary tattoo. No, the ears are different. See how the ear on the left is bent forward?
Yeah, but that could be the helmet.
It could be the helmet. Okay. All right.
I don't know.
You have to admit, this is fun.
This is so fun.
It's like living the Da Vinci Code, or living in it. I just hope we're not like a Star Trek red shirt. Don't make it to the end of the movie. So, but there was a point when I, God bless, if this is him, but I saw some videos that made it look like Jackie was the one that took out Ted. Or JFK.
I've heard that theory too. I don't buy that.
And looking at it after you hear it though, and you watch it, you're like, oh, because it looks like she does this. Now, God forbid that's the way it went down. I hope to God not. But supposedly she was really pissed because of Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of different theories, and actually, I was watching the Zapruder film again a couple of days ago, and for some reason, when I was watching it a couple of days ago, I was watching, I don't. You've seen the JFK movie where he's always like back and to the left, It's like saying he got hit from the front and went back.
Right.
But I was watching the Zapruder film, and I was like, well, it kind of does look like he got hit from the back and went forward, and then like ricocheted back. Like, I don't know, like what the actual dynamics would be, but either way, like I don't believe it was Oswald that hit him, but the kill shot may have come from the back or the front. I'm still not completely sure.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and that makes sense. You get hit from the back and then you bounce like this.
Mm-hmm.
But that would have been his body because the bullet would push the body forward. Whereas this, it was just from the neck up.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I see with that theory. Maybe not happening, but any one of them, we really don't know.
That the Zapruder film was refilmed with a dummy, so it's like we can't even take the Zapruder film as like completely concrete evidence. I've been hearing that more lately, like the dummy in the film theory, and I've even heard theories that Kennedy's still alive. It's just like there's so many theories, It's like we'll never get to the bottom of it
But
unless.
how would they back then refilm the motorcade scene in
I don't
Dealey
really believe
Plaza?
it. It's just I heard I heard
I'm from
stories.
Dallas, so
Yeah.
I used to throw protests at Dealey Plaza when I was a kid, and you can't. You got the main highway right there going across, and then Dealey Plaza, where they ran under the bridge. Um, I believe that the possibility of the theory of the ditch shooter, that's those, not coverts,
The sewer shooter.
yeah, it's down there because
Yeah.
they concrete that up, they concreted
Hmm.
it.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that
yeah.
when I heard that theory, it was actually from a YouTube video of someone who had done like a 3D reconstruction. Um, I forget exactly like what data he used to input into this 3D reconstruction, but it was like really scientific. And so that's why that theory sounded actually the most plausible to me. And that's still to me the most plausible theory that I've heard, was that it was someone shooting from the sewer. But
And that's why the umbrella guy was there, is because he couldn't see over the hill of the um, grassy knoll.
um,
So have you ever been to Dealey Plaza?
no, it's
Wow.
not on my list of vacation spots to explore the
True.
assassination.
They
But
actually
it
have
would
an
be
X
interesting.
on the road right where it happened,
Oh, that's
and people
sick.
run out in the middle of the road between cars and get their photo. And
Oh my God.
yeah, it gets a little creepy, but it's part of the history. And
Well, I lived 2 blocks from the World Trade Center, which is where I woke up to all these conspiracy theories
oh my god,
from 2005, not 9/11, but I was walking by that site every day. So I've had my fair share of experiences with conspiracy rich locations.
wow, yeah. Um, so all right, we've talked about Q for a bit. You said your new image is on the Cabal, correct?
My new map is on the Cabal, or
Yeah,
the Culture Ball.
the Cultiball. I'm sorry, Cultiball, not Cabal.
It's interesting how those are phonemically similar, but it's a little bit different.
True. Yeah. So tell us about that.
Well, so the cult of Baal map originated as an expansion of the pre-20th century part of the Qweb. So following the timeline from basically like the dawn of man through to the founding of the Federal Reserve, which was the early 20th century. And what I discovered was that you can actually trace the power structure through these different societies and secret societies all the way back to like the Canaanites, the earliest humans that we have documented evidence of, and that they've kind of worshipped the exact same deity the entire time, and it's changed its name many times, but they've used different ways of disguising their worship, and then different ways of taking over one society from the next, which actually through the Middle Ages, it turned into banking was the main tool they used to extend their range of domination. But let me pull it up and we can briefly look at it. See it?
Wow. I mean, it's just so elaborate. But you know who probably has the master map of all your stuff? Because I'm sure somebody else has already done this. But it's right there, dead center, the Vatican. I bet you
The
anything
Vatican.
they have something so almost identical to your maps, but throughout history. Could you
Oh, I'm sure
imagine
they
if
would know.
could you
Well,
imagine if you got your hands on some of that?
everything since the Roman Empire is very clear connections between these different societies, and how they took over from one society to the next. The question for me is that's a little bit blurry, is sort of more of the connection between the pharaohs and the Romans, or the pharaohs and the Vatican, because you see very clearly the symbolism in the Vatican that ties back to the pharaohs, and definitely within Freemasonry as well. I mean, they're obsessed with the pyramid and all the Egyptian symbolism. But the
Including the
question
United
is,
Nations, because the United Nations logo has the Roman leaves as well, showing that
yeah,
it encompasses the world. Yeah.
but I'm sure the Vatican would know exactly what their heritage was from the pharaohs, because basically the part of the theory of this whole map was that, well, it was the Pharaoh Show by Sean Ross on YouTube. It's a YouTube video that basically says that the people in Switzerland in control of the whole world are actually lineage to the pharaohs of Egypt. And so that was one of the main theories that I was trying to prove in this. And it was a little bit hard to connect the pharaohs to the Romans and the pharaohs to the Vatican, but there's a lot of sort of subtle connections that you can see in the symbolism, but it's the concrete connections that are a little bit more vague. But still, I mean, it's when you understand how these people work, you know that the bloodline goes all the way back. And when you see even the Baal worship going on today, you know that it ties all the way back to the Canaanites.
Wow. Wow.
And the human sacrifice, the worship of war.
And see, my brain works extremely fast. That's why sometimes I'll get tongue-tied. Because my brain is going faster than I can speak. And people go, "How does your brain work?" I mean, I think you came to my house where I have marker boards everywhere, and I'm not as elaborate, as detailed as you are with the mind mapping, you might say, but that's how my brain works. It's but in a 3D aspect, and having information like this, because when I go, anybody watches my show, I'm all over the place because this is how my brain is. It's just all over, but it's all connected. And that's why I appreciate your artwork so much, because it's like my brain on the paper. It's cool. And,
well, my brain works in the Apple Notes application, and I just basically have my notes application is completely out of control. Like I have notes that go on and on and on, and then like so many different notes as well. It's like amazing that I can even keep them sorted, but there is a search feature that helps me out sometimes. But yeah, I just put everything that, I want to eventually map into this notes application. And then I go through these lists like one item at a time and put them on here and in a way that makes sense. And it's working so far, because I think other people are having a pretty easy time understanding how I put these things together and like getting through the information on their own, because I've organized it in a very logical way.
Wow. It's just amazing. And for the people that
down here is the deity chart, which I'm actually going to eventually do a separate artwork for that gives you like a more complete version of it. This is kind of like the preview of the deity chart, which is just showing the different deities from different cultures throughout civilization and how it's kind of the same archetype. That's just the name has changed from one culture to the next, and the different, say, things that deity represents, and the different archetypes that there are. So there's like the grandfather archetype, the father archetype, the sex male god archetype, and the son archetype, and then the female mother archetype. There's sort of a grandmother archetype, but not so much. And then there's like the war sacrifice female archetype as well. Can you see my mouse on here pointing to these things?
Oh yeah. It's awesome. It's a great presentation. I'm just sitting here just flabbergasted on the information that you've collaborated and how you connect it. And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
33. Symbolic year. It's all happened in the 33rd year somehow.
You want to hear something crazy? For Disclosure Con coming up, which I hope you come back. We measured, because we're going to just do 10 by 10s this time. I don't know about the stage area. The room holds 33 booths.
Oh, of course. And Conscious Life Expo, I had to choose a booth, and I chose 733 because I thought that would be like a lucky number.
Right on. Yeah, numbers have, I've been paying attention to numbers a lot. I was telling John D'Souza, former FBI agent for 25 years, that we were talking about Q, and the very first post that was on my birthday. And so, I don't know, I've been connected with it ever since it started. I hope for the best for Q. I really hope this is something, whether it's an individual or a group that really, drains the swamp, as Trump would say, but get rid of all the black hats. I know they're going to be like roaches. We're not going to be able to get rid of every single one, because there'll be some.
I just think it's crazy and exciting that it's still going on. I have the Q app on my iPhone, and when he does a post, I get the whoop, like the little drop noise.
Nice.
And it's just so exciting that this is still going on. It's still active. It's still very active, and it's still ongoing operations. And it's such a historic time that there's no way it's a LARP anymore at this point. I mean, it's either a negative.
I know what a LARP is, but tell people what a LARP is.
Well, a LARP would be if Q was just hackers not connected with the government playing a trick on people, or
A live
anyone,
action role.
someone playing
Yeah.
playing a trick on everyone. It's not a trick. It's either a positive psyop or a negative psyop, and maybe it's even like a gray psyop. I don't know. We'll see.
Or a time traveler.
Or a time traveler, or an extraterrestrial.
Yeah, and you know, this is one of the few. I mean, I really can't think of another scenario in history where somebody came into the picture and had all the answers like this. You
No, I
know,
mean, it's
before
unprecedented. Even
it's
disclosure from the government at any scale, even on like a covert scale, is unprecedented. I mean, other than declassifying like individual documents, but the amount of information that Q has put forward, if that's coming from the government, it's like unprecedented in all of human history.
yeah, and the fact that it's gotten so close to the president, and I mean, it makes a lot of sense. They were great friends. They were two playboys in New York. Um, they both well respected his father JFK. They both wanted what's best for the country and they wanted to get rid of the cabal. And if this is their plan, which you've seen the video of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who did they say the voice of the plan was? Didn't they say they figured it out?
Yeah, he has a Twitter account. I actually just discovered his Twitter account the other day, so I don't exactly remember the name, but it's supposed to be just some guy. But I've also heard theories that that guy is sort of working with the government, or that he's like an agent. So, but it's a great video either way.
Yeah, and then he
Great
has
summary. And even the second video included the Q map. You remember seeing that?
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I said I hate saying Forrest Gump, but that's right on the cusp of, you know, huge celebrityism. You are a part of the story.
And I'm still contributing. I mean,
and you're on my show. That's just awesome.
The call to bail is actually, you know, I'm really excited for more people to see that map, because once people see that map, that's sort of going to break through like the religious dogma that's been like the highest level of the control system. So I'm really excited for that one to blow up more. And even just when I just started working on, I think I mentioned it earlier, like this new healing web that I started. It's good. I mean, it's really going to piss off Big Pharma when I release that, because I mean, it's nothing like groundbreaking. Like, I don't have any insider information, but just like I'm finding ways to put it together that people are really resonating with. And now that I have more of an audience, I think it will have more of an impact. And, you know, hopefully once I release the healing web, you know, maybe some people who have cancer will find some alternative remedies that will work better than chemotherapy. Not that chemotherapy is always bad. I mean, there's going to be a lot of disclaimers on this healing web when it comes out, but like, you know, I'm really trying to do things with these maps. You know, they're not just artwork, they're functional education. They're actually like information warfare. So
very nice. Have you ever thought about giving or sending one of these to Alex Jones? Because he's got a crowd, and that crowd of or you know, his subscribers would flip out over this. Not that
I think it's kind of a situation where like he needs to contact me. Like I'm ready to be contacted by Alex Jones, but that would be majorly the next level. I mean, I was just on the Freeman show and I found out, I hadn't really heard of Freeman, but he's kind of a big deal. And I found out that he had been doing broadcasts with Alex Jones back in the early days. Like he had a later time slot on the same channel as Alex Jones. And then apparently Alex Jones probably got the contract with like whoever, like on the inside, to sort of become huge, whereas Freeman sort of still stayed independent and still sort of a small operation.
Him and his girlfriend, right?
Oh, I didn't hear about a girlfriend, but
okay. Well, there was another guy with a beard, and he was a reporter, and he left, and he's doing his own thing with his girlfriend. Well, I thought it was like Freedom Info. I don't know. Anyway,
well, Freeman, that's his name, is Freeman Fly, and I don't think he's ever actually been. Maybe he's been on InfoWars as a guest or something, but he's had never been like a correspondent on there. But yeah, I mean, I'd be down to talk to Alex Jones, even though he's sort of gotten a bad rap lately for dogging Q.
Yeah. Oh, really? Really? So now I haven't. After the elections, I kind of veered off and wanted to broaden my perspective with other, you know, seeing other people's shows, and especially after Q. Now I'm subscribed to so many of these sites. People that are coming out, figuring things out. Everybody's got a webcam.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've been discovering some really good new ones too. I just actually booked an interview with the Higher Side Chat in January, and I was watching some of their YouTube videos last night. And it's a really great channel that dives really deep into some very esoteric topics, which is what I'm most interested in, is like the occult and, you know, like the Hermetic and Gnostic topics. So I would definitely say for people to check out that. It's like THC, Higher Side Chat, the Higher Side Chat. That's a cool channel. And then, you know, I just discovered Freeman, which you can see all of his stuff on YouTube as well, freemantv.com. I just booked another one too. Like the interviews are kind of rolling in. So,
yeah. And they will. It'll start to snowball. Just keep your feet grounded and stick to the plan.
And now that I just got this new mic, as you see here.
You weren't kidding. I just said get a little webcam. You went all out, got the big boy.
Well, you know, I was having some audio issues. And so I might even start doing my own YouTube channel some. I'm not sure.
You should.
Yeah, I've got a lot of other stuff going on, but I would like to. And a lot of people have requested it.
Yeah, I really want to help, you know, your show, all these other people's shows, and promote and cross promote. This is a time when we shouldn't be putting on shows going, oh, this is my show. I don't want guests that were on that show. You know, screw that. Or oh, you've been on so-and-so show? Nah, I'm booked up for tonight. No. I want to bring other show hosts on my show to tell people that are watching my show, hey, if you haven't checked them out, do so. Here they are. And that's what we need to do at this time in the world.
I mean, nobody trusts the real media, or I shouldn't say the real media, the mainstream media anymore. Yeah. And, you know, people like Jordan Sather are just becoming like huge. And we need more and more of these independent reporters to really cover like what's actually going on, because you're not going to hear any of this, not even on Fox.
Yeah. I mean, we are the media revolution. Because it's going to be, it's not underground anymore.
Oh no!
This is social media is the new media. So, yeah.
Well, let me just plug my main platform right now for sharing.
Do it. Plug everything you got. Sell whatever you got. Do what you need to do.
I'm not selling, but my main platform for sharing is Instagram, and on Instagram, my name is Master Conspiracy. So check that out. I share memes almost every day, and they're all original content because I just get on Photoshop and like speak my mind. And then that's where I'll put, you know, updates. And if I do any of the new updates to the major charts or new major charts, I'll share that on there as well. So Instagram, Master Conspiracy. I'm on Twitter, but I hardly ever post, so don't worry about that. Once I start a YouTube, we can promote that separately. But then the main website is still deepstatemappingproject.com. And definitely join the Facebook group, Deep State Mapping Project, on Facebook groups, because I want to get that going as a really good place for discussion and for sharing new information, stuff that would be good for the Qweb and the Healing Web and all the webs that I'm working on.
Well, something that you might be able to do, I'm using Zoom to do these broadcasts. And if you purchase one of the packages, you can have up to 100. I think on one of the smaller packages, you can have up to, you got to have the webinar add-on though, so that you can stream like we're doing right now. But you can have up to 100 people. So if you're doing your show, and I'm hoping that I'll get to a point where I'll actually have a bunch of audience members that they can interact, and you can have, you give them a link, like I gave you a link, and they can come in, there's a waiting room. So they can sit there and you can have your guest like we're doing, but we could bring in people on their video cams asking us questions or interacting. So
cool.
Yeah, up to 100 people.
Yeah, Zoom is really like the way of the future right now. I think most of the interviews I've done have been through Zoom, and it's a great app.
Yeah, I was surprised with it. I spent a lot of money on other softwares and websites I won't mention, and it wasn't able to handle the bandwidth. You know, because you'd have to Skype somebody, and then you have to broadcast it through this broadcast software, and then that's bogging it down. So you got it coming back 3 or 4 times, and you live it up on a mountain. Internet's not that great up here. So the fact that I'm only sending a single signal, which is my webcam, to Zoom, and I guess it goes into their servers. You're doing the same, and it's taking care of all the HD. It's doing the switching camera back and forth, and then it sends it out to YouTube or Facebook or wherever you stream it to. And I am impressed. I'm impressed. I'm not endorsed. Believe me, I'm paying them to use the service, so they're not sponsoring me or anything. But out of all the different services, if you're wanting to do a show, which I strongly encourage you, Dylan, you really don't need much. I mean, when you came over, I showed you my studio, the sounds, not my sound stage, but my recording studio with a set. Did you get to see that?
Yeah, I went through your garage.
Yeah. The famous, all big businesses start in the garage, right?
Of course.
I had a couch and desk and backdrop and screens and monitors. I had commercials, intro, outro. I was going all David Letterman, and it was just too much. That's not what the people want to see. I think they just want to hear what it is. They want the information and go move on. So that's what I'm bringing up.
I'm looking into a Qweb backdrop that you actually gave me the website, a really good link to what banner signs.
Yeah. So just get that.
So we might be getting the big Qweb in the back eventually, but I
was actually going to do that tonight. I was going to take down off the wall the one that I had the 4 foot by 6 foot. I was going to hang it behind me, but
I'll have to move my computer and like do a whole different room setup. But
here's a faster, easier way. Just get yourself a green screen sheet, like $10 or something on Amazon, and hang that behind you. That way you can have that poster. But if you want to change it to the Colt and ball or bail, you could have it that night and it's be talking. Because that's what I was going to try to do tonight, but I ran out of time. So that's what I would suggest. That way you don't have to print the big poster. You're just buying it. I mean, have that for your events, for your booths. Absolutely. But for your filming, just hang with thumbtacks on your ceiling above you, right behind you, a green sheet. And I don't know if Zoom has that ability, though. If they do,
we'll figure it out.
Anyway, so this is stuff we should be talking offline. Anyway, back to the show.
One last plug, though, is my next convention, which I think is confirmed. It's not 100% confirmed, but I think it's going to be Conscious Life Expo in LA, which is a huge step up. I mean, each convention I've done so far has been a big step forward. No offense to Disclosure Con, but
no.
It was a little bit smaller. But Baltimore with Alien Con was one level, and I mean, Conscious Life in LA is going to be like, I'm like really putting it out there. So if I don't get hit by a Freemason or a Jesuit at that, like, we're home free,
Nice.
So I think we're pretty much confirmed for Conscious Life. So that's going to be a really big deal. So come out to LA. It's at the end of February.
Excellent. And when? Well, like a certain weekend?
February 22nd, I think.
Okay. And where specifically?
It's at the Hilton at the LAX.
Okay. So last weekend in February, Hilton LAX airport. Hotel. Airport hotel.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even been to that expo before, but I heard about it quite a bit last year. And it seems like it's like a really big one. It's like metaphysical. There's a lot of the same speakers as Alien Con, a lot of the ancient alien speakers, because I think Gaia TV is running the convention, which, people have been saying some stuff about Gaia TV, but either way, it's like one of the most alternative mainstream sources that, they don't really shy away from any topic. And the fact that they've let me into this convention even, or that it looks like they're going to, it really shows that they're open to like having the full disclosure, like really roll out. So it's awesome.
And anybody that watches my show, I just want them to know that, I may have guests on that they may not appreciate or agree with, but I originally had on my first show that all information expressed from guests is not, 1028 Live. I want to give everybody the opportunity, and because you never know, what jewels of information, a nugget of information that's going to come out of that guest. And I think people shut down on people too quickly. They prejudge them. And that's an unfortunate thing society does is prejudging people. If they give them the time and listen to an entire interview, you may learn something, and may have new respect for that person. So I want everybody to give all of my guests a chance. If you may not agree with them, but listen to them. There might be something there that you need to hear. So, and this is definitely one. I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to look at this and their mind can't comprehend, even with the lines and circles connecting stuff. They're like, they're on drugs. I don't know. Their brain's all over the place. No. You're funny. But yeah, this is just
But it
amazing.
makes sense when the drugs wear off.
Well, I mean, it's just awesome. Now, I know it's a small thing, but if you have a new poster or something, I want you back at every year at Disclosure Con. I know it's a small venue, but your lecture, your speech, it enthralled everybody that was there. You really captured everybody's attention, and it was amazing. You said that was your very first time on stage,
It
right?
was. And
Yeah.
it was more adrenaline than nervous, but it went pretty well, I think.
Well, you looked very, very calm, cool, collective while you were up there.
Thank you.
You had your stuff together.
Yeah. I mean, for just describing like the overall project and even one of the maps takes probably 2 hours, but I didn't want to hog too much time, but I rushed through it well enough, I think.
Well, I brought you in not knowing what to expect. And I have to give a shout out to my friend. His name is Evan Lear. And he's the guy that came up and says, Doc, oh my God, you need to look at this. He had his phone and he showed me one of your posters and my jaw hit the ground. I was trying to zoom as much as I could, on this little phone.
Not on a phone. Oh my God.
I didn't know you from
A
Adam.
lot of people look at it on a phone. I mean, you can't blame them.
Yeah, but you got to look at it on a nice big monitor, or print it out like I did. I was like, 4x6, it's got to be done. So thank you, Evan, for hooking me up with Dylan. I mean, I don't know, you hooked me up, but you showed me, and then I hunted you down, and found you. And I remember you
did.
You were kind of like, well, what me? Like, yes, you. I want you to come. And yeah, it was just awesome. So thank you for being there. And Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Bringing them along. I mean, you guys were awesome. So I please come back every year.
It was a very good initiation into the convention world because it was my first convention as a vendor and as a speaker. So it was a really great experience.
It went very well. People that were there. Did we skip out? Hold on. Oh, we're back. YouTube actually had a hiccup. That was surprising. I think that's our first hiccup of the night, which I'm cool with in comparison to other shows.
Talk about Archons.
Archons. Well, but I'm interested to see what happens with the YouTube channel. Or should we do that offline? I'm kind of intrigued now. That's interesting.
Maybe we should wrap it for this one, I think.
All right. Well, I just want to say thanks to Ms. Skywalker, who has hung with us the whole show, including my mom. Gotta love her. She's my number one fan. And then anybody else that's watching the restream of this or the replay. Thank you so much, Dylan, for hanging out. Unless you wanted to.
Wait, I have to show one thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was the cover of 14 Times, and I don't know if you can see it, but that's the Qweb in the background. It's all this space is like the Qweb in red. So
wow.
I did not get any royalties for this featuring, but they used it without permission, but I just got the actual copy. I had to buy it off eBay. I didn't even get a subscription sent to me.
Well, I would say open it to the editor or go online to their website and call the editor and go, hey, so what did you think? So you really like my poster, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can I get credit? And they could do it like the next month in the front thing saying, hey, we just little shout out to Dylan on last month's article cover, You should.
Well, I tried to email them just to even order a copy. I mean, I was going to pay for a copy for them to send me one, and they didn't even respond to that. So I might try again. But either way, it's like, the Qweb has taken on its own momentum, and I have to just let my baby like do its damage in the world.
It's beyond you. Yeah. It's bigger than you.
But I don't want to find anyone selling posters on Amazon of my Qweb. That will piss me off.
No, as it should. Absolutely. Yeah, don't pirate his stuff, folks. I mean, he's put a lot into it, and it's worth. I mean, what do you? Let's see.
On my website, the big poster is $25 on my website. And
you
even
know.
that, I'm actually spent the last 4 days trying to find a different printer for my posters that can actually do like a plastic wrap and have it be saleable at a convention, because the vendor I'm using, it's all print on demand, and they actually take the majority of the profit, which kind of sucks because it's all set up through Shopify and it's a print on demand service. So, they're doing the printing, they're doing the shipping, and I don't end up with too much of a cut in the end. So I feel a little bit like I'm still like a feudal of the man, even though I'm doing my own thing. But I couldn't have gotten the website up and running as fast as I did if I didn't use this system. And so it's really served its purpose for the first year. But I think I need to look into more of like a real business model going forward.
Yeah, upgrade it. Well, dude, I'm so proud of you and so honored to call you my friend and have you, with Disclosure Con. You're an amazing individual, an amazing artist, and I love how your brain works because it's like mine. But I'm more of a scribbly dude. I mean, you've just got it. So it's just beautiful, folks. Go get yourself a Qweb map poster. It's awesome, and it's part of history. It really is. And when you do the late night YouTube channel, guys, I want to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, you come on my show when I start my own show.
Oh, you got it. Just tell me when. I'm on, definitely.
Right, cool.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if there was any questions. I haven't been paying attention over here. Looks like Liz just having a conversation with my mom. All right. Oh, Dylan did an amazing at DC. So you were at DC, right?
Well, Baltimore.
Yeah. Okay. And she says, heck yeah, great show. There's a lot here. She was going for a while talking, just answering as we were talking, I guess. So Ms. Skywalker, thanks for hanging out with us, and of course my mom. So, all right, well, we'll cut at this. I can have you back, right?
Yeah, of course. All
right. As you're doing your events, or you got a new poster coming out, let me know. We'll bring you on board, and we'll go from there. Now, I would like to ask you, would you be available on the 27th of December? Just not for a full show. Just I want to bring a bunch of guests on, talk about the year and what your prediction is for 2019.
Yeah, I'm free on the 27th.
Okay, well then I got you down. And other than that, we gave out your website. You want to do that one more time?
DeepStateMappingProject.com.
YouTube, Twitter.
Master Conspiracy on Instagram. Don't bother with Twitter. I don't even know how to post on Twitter.
Yeah, I have an account.
Quick screen share. So this is the website. The first thing's the free downloads. Definitely get those before you do anything else. Get all the free downloads, even the downloads from 2 different other artists. And then, we've got all the products, the posters, the t-shirts, the Intel packets. I have a lot of cardstock right now. So we're all stocked up on these. If you want to order these, this is actually signed artwork that I send you directly from myself.
And there's multiple copies that they can give to other people, right? With the stickers and stuff.
You get 4 big Qweb, 4 8.5 by 11 Qwebs, 4 mini Qwebs, and then 1 of the other charts. But there's bonus items. You get a laminated Q key, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. And then you get bonus items too. And if you're in a cool city, I give you a secret mission.
A secret mission?
That will be secret, yeah.
Ah, intriguing. I mean, looking at those right now, if you go back to my camera, you'll see I've got mine. I've framed 2 of them right here. Kind of like your friend. He's got them behind him, but I don't have the big ones yet. That's why I want to get bring the 4x6 in here somehow.
All those 8.5 by 11s are set up with margins so that they look good in a store-bought frame.
Yes, and so this is what you can do with these folks if you look, and then. I mean, even with this little webcam, you can see it's very elaborate.
Now that Great Awakening is by a different artist, but yes. He was kind of inspired by the layout of mine. And I think both the diagrams are very useful, and, I support him. He supports me. Yes.
And that's what we need to be doing in this time in history. That's why I'm all about cross promoting, everybody helping each other instead of us crawling our way to our goals. Let's uplift each other and work together. So that is just awesome. And I love the colors. Looking at something, you might tell somebody, don't use a bunch of flashy colors, but for this type of art, it's perfect. My eyes aren't that great, so having that color behind the font, just it, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
The other thing,
I've
now
become
you
a really
showed
big
me,
fan of cardstock in the past year. Cardstock has become like my medium as an artist.
yeah, and I love the
Cardstock and
stickers.
lamination.
I've been holding on to my sticker because I don't know where I want to place it somewhere perfect. But then I saw in your store. Can you go back to your store real quick?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where do you want to see?
You had shirts or something.
The t-shirts.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Keep going. I thought I saw one.
T-shirts.
I thought I saw one look like a movie rating.
Yeah, that was this one. This one I just finished actually 2 days ago. It's
Yes.
the new QAnon shirt that's
I want this. What does it say?
It's actually based on a Q meme that I made. QAnon is a disclosure project posting on 8chan. It has accurately projected future events and has been confirmed in several ways by the US government and Department of Defense. Read the Q drops for yourself. qmap.pub.
All right.
So yeah, it's got the Q on the chest on the front, and it's got that sort of like movie rating looking thing on the back.
All right. I'm gonna.
And it comes as the long sleeve version, which also has that same thing on the back. But the long one has a big Q on the front, which I don't know. Maybe I should have done the small Q. I don't know, but just made them a little bit different.
Well, Alien Con. Oh, that's from the other event.
These were
I'm trying to click on the shirt, thinking I have control of it.
These were the 3 I released for Alien Con. This one says disclosure now. This one has like an alien, a gray, and then this one's a little bit controversial. It's like the drippy flashback abduction flashback.
Yeah.
And on the back it has this alien probe.
Oh, brother, I got to do some shopping.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good stuff on here.
But I'm going to get a medium of the first one that I love. Yes, that I'm going to have to get. But the alien anal probe, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been wearing that one a lot lately.
Yeah, because when I went on here the first time, you didn't have all this stuff. You just had the shirt I'm wearing, and I think 1 or 2 other things. The mug.
Yeah. Well, what's great about this drop shipping setup is that I can just upload artworks, and I don't have to order a huge stock of it. I always like to see a sample before I start selling it to make sure it's turning out right, because you never know, you might run into some unexpected issues. But I do check my samples. I don't just upload and say hell with it. So they've all been approved, but fortunately I don't have to have a huge stock, so I can do designs on a weekly basis if I wanted.
So you drew the alien?
Yeah, actually these 2 artworks were from 2015. Actually, I did artworks as an extension of my previous art project called Ghost that was extending into aliens at the tail end of that project. So I hadn't really done anything with these until Alien Con. I said, well, I have these artworks I've done. Why don't I just throw them on t-shirts for Alien Con? So that's where this came from.
I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need an image for Disclosure Con 2019.
Oh, it could be part of that series. I have a whole bunch of other alien artwork ideas as well. I have a whole sketchbook of them.
Yeah, because I'm digging it.
And the back has this cool like.
Oh, that's awesome! That is awesome, man. Okay, I know where I'm doing my Christmas shopping this year. But they're all going to be in mediums.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, folks. So you can see Dylan is no joke. Oh, and you got stuff on Pizzagate. That's awesome.
Yeah, this was the.
I mean, not that Pizzagate was awesome. I'm saying it's got something it's putting it out there. Watergate, Pizzagate, Stargate. I like that. You had that at Disclosure Con.
Yeah, that was one of the early diagrams from Deep State Mapping Project before I even created the Qweb.
Wow. Well, cool. Awesome. I'm going to be doing some shopping on your site because your stuff is just awesome.
Yeah.
So
check it out. Christmas season is here.
Yes, it is. So folks, where did I go?
Let me bring you back. There you go.
There we are. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dylan Monroe, and he is the creator of DeepStateMappingProject.com and of all this amazing artwork. It will open your eyes. You will stare at these things for a long time. You will be wowed, and your jaw may even hit the ground when you realize how this stuff is truly interconnected. Dylan, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And I look forward to having you on the 27th. And look forward to seeing an email saying that Doc Skinner bought some stuff because yeah, those are awesome. What else? We'll talk after I go offline, and we'll talk about Disclosure Con. And what else? I'm just thank you, man. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, folks.
I hope your YouTube channel just takes off so fast, you know?
Well, I'm getting, I'm close to my AARP card. So if it
Will.
wants to
It
take a
will.
nice slow incline, I'm cool with that too. I'm here for the long game. So, all right, folks. Doc Skinner, 1028 live. My guest, Dylan Monroe. That would be it. I'm going to end this meeting now, I think. How do I do this? Like this. All right, folks. Hit the stop button.